This will be my review of the regular size facsimile of the King James Bible 1611 in hardback. I don't believe it's got any, it's not leather or anything. It's a paste down. This is an actual facsimile. It's got everything in it that the King James Bible would have had in it, the original. You got the slain lamb. And there's the pelicans, and what they do is they feed their young they'll cut themselves and let the young drink their blood. That's kind of freaky, but anyway. This is the title page. King James Version, first edition, first printing, 1611. So it will have the mistakes and everything in it, the misspellings and stuff. This is the title page. This book is I think 11 inches when it's closed. Yeah, 11 by 8 3/8, 8 1/4. I think they advertise it as 8 1/2 by 3 1/2. So it's a big Bible, but it's a hand size compared to what the originals were. They were 17 by 12 by 5, I think. So you got a president. This would be something, to hand down like a family Bible. But this is the title page. And there's a lot going on in here. Up here, you have the name of God, then you have the Holy Spirit and the Lamb. And again, down here, that thing with the pelican. So, Gordon Campbell, who is supposed to be the expert, says this is Matthew, this is Mark, this is Luke, and this is John. This, of course, would be Moses, and this would be his brother, Aaron. And the reason he says, let's see, there's a little angel. Now, the translators didn't do any of the artwork, folks, so. But see the little lion here? And he associated that with Mark, but I always associated it with Matthew. See, here you got the ox with Luke, which I always associated with Mark. So, but what do I know? And there you have the eagle, and then Matthew just got an angel behind him. Now, the letters and everything are different. The F's and S's are interchangeable, and the Y's and I's a lot of times. So it says, containing the Old Testament and the New, newly translated out of the original tongues, and with the former translations diligently compared and referred. Revised, I mean. See, it's that S is, the U is a V, and the S, it's kind of, it'll take a little get used to. By His Majesty's special commandment. I like this part. Appointed to be read in the churches. The King James Bible, they would, when they came together, when all the councils came together, they read it aloud. It wasn't like they all had sitting there looking at a copy, because they wanted it to be read aloud and to be beautiful read aloud. And that's why there's no comparison to the King James Bible. Imprinted at London by Robert Barker, printer to the king's most excellent majesty. Anno Domini 1611, the year of our Lord 1611. And I guess that would be who did the picture. So we have the dedicatory, and if you'll notice, James is started with a capital I. So is Jesus, John, and everything like that. The translators of the Bible to the Most High. Then you have the translator to the reader. This is actually written to you and to me. So it would behoove you to read this. Wow. I have it in a modern King James and the modern English. I've read it. It'll be challenging in this thing. And they even got notes on the side of this. And then, in the 1611 original King James Bible, it came with a lot of stuff. Here you have your calendar, and you have the sunrise and sunfall fallen hours, and this is January, and again, notice it's capital I, and it has 31 days. Look at how it's spelt. And you have a morning prayer and an evening prayer and a psalm reading and stuff like that. Anyway, so it's got all that for each month: July, November, December, and then we move into the almanac for the next 46 years, years, yeers, and that gives you up to 1641, I guess. It's pretty cool, though. So I guess they gave to find Easter forever. And over here you have the table and calendar expressing the order of Psalms. So the original 1611 came with a lot of extras, just like a lot of modern Bibles do. It is a reference Bible. My friend pointed out to me, I made another one on another one. I said it was the first reference Bible. And he pointed out correctly that there were early editions that actually had it had references in the earlier Bibles before the King James. So, but this was, of course, the first King James Bible. It wasn't called the King James Bible. Lessons for the holy days. If you're a history buff, which I am, and you love the Bible, which I do, this is something else. I'm giving this to my daughter. She's going to a Bible college, although it's a Pentecostal, but I still love her, and I'm going to give her this Bible and to be the centerpiece of her library. Notice the artwork. Now the King James 1611 original, they did have Roman type, because back here, that's the Roman type, and this was printed in 1611. But they chose to go with the Gothic writing, and they actually hand carved these little letters. There was a lot of work went into one of these. I think this is the seal of King James himself. I'm not positive about that. You got the lion and the whole. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the seal of King James. And then you have the genealogies of the Holy Scriptures. And it starts with Adam and Eve. It starts with God, Adam and Eve. And 32 pages, folks. So you could do a grand study on this. 32 pages of genealogies, all brought, and they all got the First Chronicles 4:15. So it goes all the way to Jesus Christ, and you come down to his father Joseph. Well, it wasn't his father. Actually, it says by law, because it wasn't his natural father, but he was legal father. And Mary by nature, and then the Christ was born. Here you have a map of the Holy Land. Wow. Yeah, I can't read that. But this was done by John Speed, who, if I'm not mistaken, was also one of the translators or did a lot of work on the Bible in some way. And this map he did was so detailed and so good that actually merchants that went to the Holy Land would use this map to get around. So he was something else. These men that worked on this Bible were absolute geniuses. I'm going to do a great big, when I get my big Bible, I'm going to go into a lot of stuff in the King James. But there's that text, the Gothic text. It is readable, but it's rough. See, mood, Moobed, upon, and that looks like a B. The face of the waters, and God said with an F, let there be light, and there was light. Now in the Gothic, you see, those are the words that you would find in italics, where the translators had to use a word that was not in the original, just to make it where you could understand it. But instead of italics, it put it in the Roman text. So they had the Roman text in that. King James Bible is the only one that's honest about the words that they added. Most of your modern perversions won't even know italics or anything. Of course, they subtract and add words all the time. No big deal with them. Anyway, so this is the King James. I like how the words do not go in the gutter. Again, the King James had notes. The Geneva Bible, as I was pointed out, was before the King James, and it had notes. So this was not the first reference Bible, but it is the first reference Bible, first King James reference Bible, I should say. The fifth book of Moses, called Deuteronomy. Look at that, how that's spelled. Anyway, the King James Bible included the Apocrypha. And again, Job spelt with a I. The Apocrypha is not, that's Ecclesiastes, the Apocrypha is not canonical books. The King James translators knew that. They put it in between the Testaments. So, Daniel, let's see. There's the Apocrypha. It doesn't give you any description at all. See, Malachi, it gives you the description. And then in the book, in the Apocrypha, Esdras, I have read. I've listened to it on tape, on on YouTube. I've listened to it. Some of it gets way off there. The Catholics like it because they tell you can buy your salvation, I think, in Tobit. But I like the Maccabees. And anyway, it was placed in between the Testaments, showing you it is not canonical. But for the first 200 years of the King James Bible, it did include the Apocrypha. Apocrypha, I think, means hidden wisdom or something like that. And they kind of are sarcastic about it because they say the books called the Apocrypha, and then it'll say the books of the New Testament or the books of the Old Testament. But then when it gets to the Apocrypha, it says the books called. Now this is your title page for your New Testament, and there is a whole lot going on here. Again, I think you got Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. On this side, you have the 12 tribes of Israel. And then on this side, you have the 12 apostles. And if you'll notice, behind this guy is the lion, and there's an angel behind him. I always thought the lion was associated with Matthew, but according to the experts, it doesn't. There you have him, and you have the ox. Do we have an eagle here? Yeah, see the eagle? And so Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, your tribes of Israel, and your apostles. The Gospel according to Matthew. It did come with headings in the original King James. And again, those are in the Roman type. The genealogy of Christ from Abraham to Joseph. See, he says he. In the King James Bible, that word he is spelled H-E, like we spell it. It's spelled H-E-E, and it's also spelled H-I-E. So there was no standardization of spelling, and I can show you that in chapter 2. The word Herod, when Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled. All right, Herod spelt like we spell it. Now you go to verse 12. I'm sorry, folks, I'm trying to stay out of the shadow here. Verse 12, and being warned of God in a dream, that they should not return to Herod, right here, with an E on the end. So even in the same chapter, they didn't spell the words the same. The punctuations are a little different than your modern King James, and I've learned that was the discretion of the printer. So anyway, that's this is the exact facsimile of a King James Bible. Only it's not. This would be the hand side. And this was $150. And when you bought this one, it gave you. Evidently, there were smaller ones because the leaf that I was given was, and I'm going to do a separate video on them. But the leaf that I was given is from a smaller King James Bible, but it's actually from 1650 or sooner, so it's a very ancient one. Anyway, this is goes, I think, at the KJV store for $150. I got it on eBay. I think I paid $119 and then shipping. But it would be a great centerpiece to any library. All right, folks, read those Bibles, pray without ceasing, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.